What is going on, guys? Dave from Wake Up It's Football, bringing you guys another draft profile today. Today it is outside linebacker Khalil Mack out of Buffalo. And remember, look down at the date of this video. A lot of draft stock shifts and changes in the next 4 months before the draft, so just kind of keep that in mind. But here we go. Again, Khalil Mack, outside linebacker out of Buffalo, 6'3", 248 pounds, some collegiate stats, 309 total tackles, 28.5 sacks, 16 forced fumbles, and 75 tackles for loss. This guy is an absolute stud. Let's get to some pros and some cons. Now, when watching tape on Khalil Mack, without a doubt, the first thing that stood out to me was his pursuit and how well he was able to keep on opposing quarterbacks when they were rolling outside of the pocket. How well he was able to keep pursuit on running backs, whether it was left, right, up the middle, didn't matter. Khalil Mack kept his pursuit, and he had great movement when he did it. He would, have to stop, start, and redirect, and he did that very well. His hips, very fluid. He knew what he was doing, which was another thing that played into his play disruption. It seemed as if almost every single play, Khalil Mack was a play disruptor. He always beat his man. He was always a player who was in opposing quarterbacks' face, pressured, hurried, sacked. It didn't matter. Khalil Mack was always there. Another thing about his game, play recognition and patience. He was a very patient player when it came to opposing running backs, when it came to playing against the run. He would wait on the play to develop, and then he would attack, and he was always a guy who wrapped up very well. So he was a guy that I really, really liked. He was, I think, the most enjoyable player so far that I've watched, and a guy that I really like in this upcoming draft. Now, cons, there have been some behavioral concerns regarding Khalil Mack. He is a hard worker in the weight room. He shows solid, he has solid performances in practice, but there are some behavioral and personality concerns with multiple NFL scouts that have, they've cited. He was suspended for the 2012 season opener against Georgia due to violation of team rules, which was an altercation in the locker room with a teammate. And he's been quoted to be a big fish in a little pond. He'll test the limits. He rubs some teammates the wrong way. So some of that kind of stuff has been pointed out by some NFL scouts and also opposing talent. When regarding Khalil Mack and where he played at Buffalo, he played in the MAC. He was, again, don't forget about this, he was a 2013 MAC Defensive Player of the Year. But the opposing talent that he played against, wasn't Ohio State, even though I believe they had a game against Ohio State. It wasn't Florida. It wasn't LSU, Alabama. These were smaller schools like a Kent State, Stony Brook, Ohio. So Khalil Mack, in that respect, that was a con. But I still think he's going to be a solid player. We still see a lot of players who don't come out of the SEC and perform very well in the NFL. So to me, that's not a huge argument. That's not a huge factor, but sometimes people like to make that argument. Draft projection, round 1, top 10 pick. You got to lock this guy in. I loved Khalil Mack. I loved what I saw on tape. I don't see how he falls out of the top 10. Teams of interest, I think 3 teams that probably could absolutely use an outside linebacker: Minnesota, Jacksonville, and Buffalo. How ironic would it be for Khalil Mack to go to, Buffalo and then be drafted by the Bills? So I think that's those are the top 3 teams. Now, if you know anything about Khalil Mack, if you have any comments, concerns, questions, throw those comments down below. I'll get to those as soon as possible. I should be bringing you guys the next prospect here shortly. But that's all I got for you guys today. I'm out.